Heyo, how are we doing? It is I, Callie with a K, also that diagnosed mom. Thanks for tuning in with your ear holes. I'm just gonna start out by saying I think my computer doesn't like me recording things on it because I just tried to restart recording episode 1, and then it just the app I was using for my laptop just stopped and ended up not recording any of it. Luckily, I was only maybe 2 minutes in, but you got to understand this is my 7th or 8th try at this. I yeah, I don't know. I don't know. So now I'm trying it with the Spotify podcasters recording. I can only record up to 30 minutes, but that might be okay for this one, and then I'll have to figure out what to do with the other one. Um, so looking at this podcast, if you've listened to the trailer and the follow me and then the one before this, my brain is kind of chaotic, and I got some feedback from some family and friends regarding the trailer, and they just mentioned how I bounced around a lot and I was everywhere. But luckily, that was just a trailer, and I kind of wanted it to be like that because it was just a tiny little window into what I hope this can turn into. And you got to know me hopefully a little bit, so that was good. But taking that feedback into consideration, I do have a script for this first episode. But I will warn you, I do tend to get off track unintentionally. It's just how my brain works. I connect a lot of dots. I'm just always something relates to something else that makes me think of something else. It just goes around and around. But I'm going to try really hard to make it as less confusing as it could be. This is the first actual episode of That Diagnosed Mom. So I would just like to take a moment and give it a little tap tap. And I'm super excited. This is it, guys. We're here. This is it. This is happening. I am very much looking forward to it. I want to kind of recap on the episode, or not the episode, but the little mini thing that I posted before this one. I was really sad and disappointed that I wasn't able to produce podcast content like I wanted to this past week because I was in a lot of pain and going through a lot of health issues. And my goal for this podcast is just to be as real and honest as I can be so that other people feel comfortable asking for help or can relate to something. So I put myself in a vulnerable position by recording me having a moment of sadness and getting all in my feels. And I decided to post it because I want to be as authentic as I can be, and I also don't want to hide any of the realities of my disease or my brain. So that's kind of what the last one was. It was a little sad. I apologize, but it was short. So, and you don't have to listen to it, it's okay. But I just want to say that I'm trying to make sure I'm gonna stay in order, and I also don't want to keep things super serious. There are gonna be some episodes that I think are geared towards serious topics, but I don't want I'm still gonna have a lot of random fun topics that I'll go through. But I do want this podcast is also for me to do research on multiple different things and to educate people on them. I have a list of all the things I want to do research on and be able to explain it better. I went through postpartum depression, but I did more research into it and actually learned a lot of new things. So it was really good for me, and I'm excited to do that with pretty much a bunch of topics. I have a huge list that I know I want to learn more about and share with all of you. And I'm just gonna kind of be that crazy Callie K. Let's no, let's not do that. Um let's just do Callie K. I don't know, maybe Auntie Callie K. I don't know. we'll see. We'll figure it out. That diagnosed mom fits me pretty well already, so I probably don't need a little segue. As I was saying, it's really hard for my brain to keep on track, but going off of topics and everything, I want to really spread awareness and help educate people who may not know how to approach certain situations. And I also want to be a voice for some of those people who are going through autoimmune diseases or just have stomach problems. If I can help a family member who wants to help someone they know, that sounds super confusing. I'm gonna lay it down a little bit different. So, say you know someone who has a chronic illness or stomach problems. If I'm able to share how it has made me feel and impacted my life and things that help me, it may help you understand and be able to ask that friend or person what they need from you. And honestly, I know that's a scary question, but going up to someone and asking just like, what do you need from me? What can I do for you? Is very, like, much more helpful than, I'm so sorry, I feel so bad for you. Like, not that that's bad, but it's just, I automatically like feel guilty when people say they're sorry to me because I feel like I'm affecting them. I'm working on that, but there's so many times in my life where like I cannot commit to things, which makes it really hard for a lot of things in my life, like working and gatherings and friendships and all that fun stuff. But sorry. I'm also gonna yawn a lot because that's just something I do when I'm uh, a little nervous. I'm just getting real with it. Oh, what was I talking about? Oh my god. I was talking about something. Oh, having a chronic illness, like, it's gonna be unpredictable my whole life, and that's fine now that I know that. But like as a teenager, it was really hard. And now with kiddos, it can be super hard. Like this past week, I haven't been able to really spend time with my kiddos, and I miss them so much. And it's just been really hard, like not being able to be a mom or not being able to be the mom that I feel they deserve. My husband reminds me all the time, like, I'm not a bad mom for like being in pain and like going through this. Like, I'm not doing it intentionally, but it's like I am their mom. And like to me, being a mom is being present and helping your kids and teaching your kids and like loving your kids. And I'm not able to be around them because I'm stuck laying down because I can't move without pain, and it's really hard. And our daughter like knows now that like I have like my tummy hurts a lot. Like she'll ask me, and it's really cute, but I'm also so sad that she already knows. She'll just be like, "Is your tummy feeling okay?" And I'm like, "You shouldn't have to ask that." And I know it's not my fault, but like, oh, it's kind of crushing. It's a little crushing for me. I never want them to like have to experience anything I go through, and I never want them to see me in pain. But I guess it's bound to happen. I'm working through it. It's just another thing that I can talk about on here and share my experience with. It's going to take me time as well. So you're in for a journey, and you better buckle up, my friends. Um, there's a lot of emotions that go through pretty much like relate to any and all situations throughout our life, whether it be parenting, illnesses, friendships, work relationships. Like, I know some people that can turn off their emotions when going into work. I struggle with that. I am very personable person. It's something I'm working on though, because I do need to like take myself out of the equation for emotional relationships in a work setting, especially in the like restaurant industry. There's just so much drama, and I've learned from my past job that I really need to take a step back and not get so involved, which can be seen as not a great thing, or just like I'm there to make money. I'm not there to mess around. But a lot of the time I do feel lonely when I'm sick because I'm not able to go to that job and I'm not able to help with the family. I'm not able to help with the kids. No one knows what to do when I'm in pain. Um, People don't know what to say, and sometimes they say things that they don't intend to make me feel guilty, but like there is so much disappointment in their words that I don't know what to do. Like, I don't know if I should try to suck it up and just like grimace all the time and not move and pretend to be happy. Well, that's not healthy. So, no, I don't think that's right. I think it's part of what I need to work on, having that conversation with people of this is what happens when I have these flare ups. These are the feelings that I have, and then the support that they can give me. And that's something that is really hard to take on because if you're like me, I already feel like a burden on my own. So people being disappointed that I might have to leave or do something, that just like adds to it. So then having that conversation, and most of the time, hopefully it's for you as well, but most of the time they don't even know that it's happening. They don't know that they're saying the things they're saying because they've never seen this before. They've never had to deal with someone who has this kind of illness or has had these problems. And it's just unfortunately been my whole life, but if you haven't been around the whole time, you're not used to it, you know? I can't blame them, but also it's up to me to educate them. So that's just a huge thing that I want to do for this podcast is educate anyone who wants to listen about certain topics, and then I want to spread awareness for those things that people may not feel comfortable talking about and things that I feel passionate about. And I want to bring people together. I would love for this to be a community someday where we can like all get together and make shit jokes. Like, I'm not even joking. Like, my life revolves around poop. I cannot help it. I have stomach problems, Crohn's, IBS, IBD. Like, it's just, it happens, and it's all, everybody poops. I don't care what anybody says, everybody poops one way or another. And before you get into this podcast, there's gonna be topics. It's gonna be talking about. I've sharted a bunch of times. I have shat myself. I have had to stop on the side of the road and go behind a tree on a highway. So there is no holding back for me. None. Zip, Zuda, like none of it. I do want to warn you of that now, though. We're gonna get crazy, but it's not gonna be like every episode talks about that kind of thing. I do have kind of a list of how I want to go about it. I don't want to say they're going to be like a serious episode, but to me, I think postpartum depression is more of a serious topic. So like I'll have that episode, and then I might have like a little fun one that I did research on or like just want to talk about, and then we'll kind of do maybe like every other. I kind of want to get to the point where I can post 2 a week, so that way I can just get it out there and see what happens. And I'm all about feedback. I'm not a fan of trolls. I probably won't even acknowledge any. I'm probably not even going to look at comments for a while because for my mental health, I think my anxiety would get really bad. So I will not be looking at comments. I apologize in advance. I will be more active in the future when this is like something that's solid and productive and hopefully being spread around and people, oh my god, that made it sound like some kind of like oh, never mind. I want the podcast to reach like multiple people, multiple groups, like just the world. That'd be so cool. But yeah, we all have different experiences. I have mine. They're not going to be the same as yours. Everything I talk about is going to be either based on my experience or based on research I have done. I will never try to shove my opinions down anyone's throats. I don't agree with that way, like that path of communication. I think you can have a conversation about opinions that you disagree on without driving it to conflict, aggression, yelling, like anything. Like, I think I can hear your opinion and understand it, but not agree with it, and then have a conversation with you of like why I don't feel that way. Like, for me, this is like a huge, for me, there's so many things I want to talk about, but some of them are just like too much for this first episode. So it's hard for me to give an example until it's like later on. And that's just how I am. Here, I can do an easy one. Some people don't understand the point of therapy because they think like in medication even, like they don't think we need it. Like and some people look down on therapy. They're like, "Oh, you need help, like mental health and mental help." And I'm like, "Yes, yes, I do." The stigma is luckily like shifting from like quote unquote quacks and like the quote unquote the, like laying on a laying on a nice recliner chase and the whole pen and paper. How does that make you feel? Like we're getting away from that a little bit, but like a lot of that, there's psychiatry, psychology, and therapy, counseling, like there's so many different aspects of it. For me personally, therapy has helped give me tools that make relationships in my life much better and positive, and also my makes my brain much better and positive. So I have alleviated so much of my stress, and my depression has gotten way better going through therapy. And there's relationships in my life that would probably be shit if I hadn't done what I needed to do and felt and could do it because of therapy. So that's how therapy is like great for me, but some people just don't feel like telling random strangers their problems, and that's okay as long as if there's someone that you can talk to so it doesn't eat you up and you don't feel miserable all the time. Like I definitely encourage that. Like just find anyone in your life that you feel comfortable talking to. Like if you don't know someone, then hit up a stranger. Like hit up Omegle chat and just don't be creepy about it. Don't be weird. I mean, you can be like normal weird. I don't even think there's a normal weird, but like for me, I feel like I'm weird, but just in a quirky, witty, random, kind of like a panda. Like I'm not dumb, but just kind of like fall all over myself anyway. um there's just different layers of weird, and don't be the weird. It's like I feel like I'm talking about morbid true crime because they're in different podcasts, but they always say, "Don't be so weird as," or "Don't be as weird as," and then yeah. So I think I made my point pretty clear. Just don't be creepy weird. But I mean, even anyone at school, if you can't talk to a parent, there's a bunch of people that are around you that you probably don't notice are options to talk to. And I've just had like these crazy realizations where I'm obviously we all know we're gonna die. Hopefully all of us know we're gonna die. Like we literally live and die. That's how the world goes. But like I realized the big part of that, of like I'm going to die. Like what am I gonna have from here till then to look like to leave the world with? If I can leave, ooh, I don't know if you heard that. I'm sorry. If I can leave something positive and helpful in the world when I go, that would be like the most amazing accomplishment ever. I would love to be able to impact lives and help people help each other and have people try to understand each other more, get into each other's perspectives more. Um, there's just so much hate and anger, and there's just so much. Like it's almost baffling. Like if you just imagine like complimenting, if everyone just complimented each other, just like one nice thing to a stranger a day. I mean, I word vomit all the time, but if I see something, like if I see someone wearing something I like, I'll comment. If I see hair that I like, I comment. I'm an outspoken person. I'm an extrovert, which makes like the restaurant industry as a server work really well for me. But it's just like if you think about it, there's always someone who's struggling. Like no matter where you're at, someone is struggling. Like you don't even have to get so involved. Just check in and be like, "Hey, how you doing? Like you doing okay?" And then just talk about something. I don't know. It doesn't have to be anything crazy. I think we put a lot of pressure on ourselves to like not go too far, not do enough. And it's like just don't think about it. Like just go into it open-minded just have a conversation. You'll get a vibe, you'll get a feel, and it's just like let it flow, man. And I just sounded like such a hippie. Let it flow, man. Maybe that's a pothead. I don't know. Whoever talks like that. But it's just like the world is scary. And if one of us thinks that, I'm pretty sure there's millions that think that. If we can just combine and like learn and educate each other on our own experiences, like everyone should just like start a podcast and talk about their life. Because I'm not made to go to a 9 to 5 job and that be like come home, do kiddos, hang out, and just have like family weekends and stuff like that. Like I grew up that way and it was great and I loved it, but like I cannot like socially, physically do that because I have too much energy, I have too many thoughts, got too much I want to say, and I feel like I have information and life that like life experience that can help someone. So who am I to like just not want to share it if it could help anyone? Like that's always been something I've wanted to do from day one is I just want to help others. First it was psychology. I wanted to do like be a psychologist, but I would take that shit home. I would take anything from those clients and bring it home. I would not be able to separate the two, and that would be unfair to my family and myself because it would just make me go down, down, down. So it's kind of just a little nisbet of what this podcast is and for me and what kind of goal it is. I also love accents and they're just gonna pop out. I'm not sorry about it. I love it. You can make fun of me. That's fine. I'm gonna do a brief background of my life. I only have like 8 minutes, so we'll see how this goes. Let's see. My parents were together for 10 years, as in married for 10 years. Before they had me, they divorced before I was 1. My mom met my stepdad when I was basically 3. We moved an hour and a half away where he lived in the middle of nowhere, country life, redneck. And then I went to school where my mom and I used to live, like that town. So it was like an hour, 15 minutes. Basically, I was in the car for 2.5 hours a day going to and from school. So maybe it wasn't an hour and a half away, whatever. And then that was until the end of 5th grade. Then I got into sports, and so they decided that those nights were super late for a kid, and I ended up transferring to the school that was in like 15 minutes away from home instead, and that was a public school. The other one was a private Catholic school. Uniforms. Don't judge. I don't judge uniforms, but just for me, like I cannot imagine myself trying to. I just can't. And so, yep, started there 6th grade, stayed there all through high school, did so many sports, so many things. Trying to think if anything happened in middle school that was kind of crazy. Not really. High school, got diagnosed with Crohn's disease. Kind of went through a bunch of tummy stuff, had to quit track because of it, because of the inflammation that was caused by running. Broke my arm right before junior year, and volleyball was my freaking shit. I got like all conference. I got invited to Hawaii for a volleyball showcase. Like, obviously, there are way better awards than that, but like for me, it was my shit. Like, I love volleyball. I want to get into some sand volleyball leagues someday. Oh, someday. So yeah, that was like really hard for me. Breaking my arm right before that, I went through like a bunch of brain shit. And then there was a toxic relationship during that time period. The first one anyway. Like I had 2 quote unquote serious relationships in high school. The first one was toxic. The second one probably wasn't like it was way better than the first one, but it probably wasn't that great either. We weren't good for each other. But then I decided to go to college about 4 hours away because I wanted to get away from all that. And that I also ended up going to a private college, like a religious private college. But it was in like way away, and I ended up having to, well, I did meet my now best friend, Lolo. Lolo. I don't want to say their name, just in case. But Yep, met her, she was my roommate, and then I had to medically withdraw, like, right before the end of freshman year, and that was a big bummer, like, huge bummer, and then was home for a while getting my stomach situated, uh, got my own apartment, got my job, tried to do online school, met Trav on Tinder, great time. Talk about it more later on a different episode. And then, let's see, we ended up moving to the town where he worked, and then we got married, and then bought a house, and then got pregnant, and then COVID, and then had baby. Oh, wait, no. During pregnancy, he started doctorate school, then had baby, then postpartum depression for about 3 to 6 months after that. Then a little bit after that, got pregnant, and then was working as a server. I've worked as a server for the place 2 years. I had worked for 2 years. So I did that while I was pregnant with second baby. Gave birth, had another one. Also had slightly, like, not great pregnancies just because, like, I don't know. My body just wanted to spit them out early. I don't know. Silly. But again, another topic for another conversation. And then I've been having really bad medical flare-ups lately. And there's a lot in between all that, but those are like the big things that are popping out to me right now. Obviously, animals are a huge part of that, but that's like a whole another topic. Yeah, it's just kind of wild. Job front, I'll talk about more, but there's been like a few that I've tried, and we'll just kind of see. But yeah, right now it's 2 toddlers, 3-year-old, almost 2-year-old, husband, cat, dog, me. Money is a little rough. I do have a job that I need to call and tell them that my body is in like recovery, so I haven't even been able to start because all this shit happened at the same time. But I'll be able to start after the new year. That's my goal. I've been entering I entered a writing contest, but I've been writing a lot more, and I've started some stories, got this podcast going, and then eventually I'll probably do real estate, depending. That just like the benefit of that and like the process itself will probably take like 6 months to a year. So I just don't have the time or money to do that right now. And that's okay because I'm going to be making money as a server, and I feel confident in the place that I applied at and got. So that's nice. But yeah, that's where I'm at right now. I'm here and I'm working on myself every day. I want to exercise and become healthy and not lose weight just because I can't eat. And I want to start meditating. Like, I feel silly saying it the way I said it, but like my brain just does not shut up. It does not. And I want to meditate. I want to alleviate some stress, some anxiety, because I know that that triggers my autoimmune disease and basically like everything in your body. It's not good for you, yada, yada, yada. I'm trying real hard. So, yeah, this weekend, it's like it's the 20th right now. So this upcoming weekend is Christmas weekend. We have like 7 or 8 total. It's just how my family is. Again, another time. But I'm very excited to continue this journey. I appreciate you listening and allowing my voice to enter your ear holes. And I hope you follow me, and we'll kind of see where we go. Thank you so much. Bye bye, darling.